Judicial Circuit Court for Prince George's, Calvert, Charles, and St. Mary's County of the state of Maryland is in session this 10th day of July, 1907. Chief Judges John P. Briscoe presiding, Judges George C. Merrick and J. Perrin Crane assisting. Those having business before this court, pray come forward.
Good morning. Be seated. The people versus Mary Elizabeth Bowie and Robert Henry Bowie. Are we ready to proceed?
L. Allison Wilma for the state. The people are ready.
Adrian Posey and Sidney E. Budd for the defense, Your Honor. We are ready.
Clerk swear on the jury.
Please stand and raise your right hand. Do each of you swear that you will fairly try the case before this court and that you will return a true verdict according to the evidence and the instructions of the court, so help you God? Please say I do.
I do.
You may be seated.
Clerk, read the charges. Defendants will rise and face the court.
On May 22nd, 1907, L. Allison Wilmer, Charles County State's Attorney, complains and alleges upon information and belief Mary Elizabeth Bowie and Robert Henry Bowie did, on or about January 18, 1907 and January 19, 1907, violate Article 27, Section 335 of the Annotated Code of the Public Civil Laws of Maryland. In that, the said defendants did willfully, unlawfully, feloniously, and with premeditation and malice aforethought murder Hubert Posey, a human being. Maximum penalty under the statute for the crime of first-degree murder is death.
The defendants may be seated. Your opening statement, General Warner.
Gentlemen of the jury, the people will offer evidence that Hubert Posey suffered death due to unlawful and unnatural causes. The people will present eyewitness testimony that Mary Elizabeth Bowie and Robert Henry Bowie planned, ambushed, and killed Hubert Posey. The people will offer evidence of the murder weapons found in the said defendant's possession.
Will the defense be making an opening statement?
We are, Your Honor.
Gentlemen, under the law, my clients are presumed innocent until proven guilty. The family in this land of ours is the nucleus of the Commonwealth. The protection of the sanctity of the family ties the chastity of women. The development and maintenance of a salutary and exalted respect for the honor of the mother, the sister, and the daughter become therefore a natural and essential feature of the law in this land. In nearly every state of this nation, there will be found an exemplification and recognition of this fact and an adoption of this doctrine. It is in this sense that I claim the protection of what I have called, and that the unwritten law states, as an adequate defense for these defendants. It is a principle of what high authority has classified as jurisdictional evolution.
Thank you, gentlemen. The people may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Gentlemen of the jury, the people must provide evidence that the crime, the corpus delicti, under statute has been committed. The crime the people will show is the deliberate, premeditated, and unlawful taking of a human life. Murder. The people will introduce Dr. Sullivan's signature on Hubert Posey's death certificate from Casualty Hospital in Washington, D.C. Surveyor's maps of the scene of the crime. Deadly weapons. Blood-soaked, bullet-ridden garments. The slugs and the pellets removed from the victim's body. And the malice aforethought by the defendants. Bailiff, the people call Coroner Justice
May I approach, Your Honor? Your Honor, with your permission, allow me to intercede in order to save this court's time. Now bear with me, please.
This is most irregular, sir. Could you be a little bit more specific?
The defense admits the deceased is Hubert Posey. We admit the people's documents, clothing, weapons entered into evidence are correct. We admit Mary Elizabeth Posey, Bowie, and Robert Henry Bowie shot Hubert Posey and caused his demise.
You admit the defendants planned, ambushed, and murdered Hubert Posey? Is this a guilty plea?
No, Your Honor, this is not a plea. We admit the defendants caused the death of Hubert Posey. However, we will let the facts, as presented, speak for themselves.
Enough, gentlemen. It's noted and stipulated, Mr. Martin. Allow the court a moment to enter the said exhibits into evidence. Members of the jury, you are instructed that all of the people's physical exhibits will now be admitted into evidence. Clerk, let the jury see the items. Gentleman Wilmer, call your first witness for the people.
The people call W. Mitchell Diggs, Esquire.
W. Mitchell Diggs. W. Mitchell Diggs, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name, residence, and occupation.
W. Mitchell Diggs, Bryantown. Attorney at law, practicing in Charles County, a member of the bar in Maryland and Washington, D.C.
Your Honor, W. Mitchell Diggs approached my office as an amicus curiae, a friend of the court, in relation to this case. In particular, the mens rea, the criminal intent in regard to this unwritten law.
Mr. Diggs is well known to the members of this court. Good morning, Counselor. The decision on whether to admit your amicus brief lies at the discretion of this court. Proceed with your questions.
Mr. Diggs, are you acquainted with the defendant, Henry Bowie? Would you point him out?
Yes. Henry Bowie came into my offices on January 8th of this year.
Is or has Henry Bowie ever been a client of yours?
No.
What was the purpose of his visit?
Henry Bowie asked me to bring suit against Hubert Posey for breach of promise.
Did you bring that suit?
No. I told him such a suit would be useless. Posey had nothing to surrender in the event of losing the case.
Now, what was his response?
He told me after some prodding, his sister, Priscilla Bowie, had been ruined by Hubert Posey.
Now, how did you reply to this disclosure?
I asked Henry Bowie if Priscilla was over the age of 16.
And what did he say?
He said she was. I told him, though distressing to those concerned, it's not a crime in the state of Maryland.
And how did he react to this news?
He reddened and stammered. Posey must make matters right by marrying her. He asked about the Bywaters case in Culpeper.
Can you please enlighten the jury on the particulars of the Bywaters case?
William Bywaters, trusted cousin, seduced Viola, sister of James and Philip Strother. Bywaters persuaded her sometime later to submit to a criminal operation in Washington. Bywaters was compelled under protest to marry Viola. After the ceremony, he attempted to escape and desert his wife. Bywaters was killed by her brothers. The unwritten law defense enabled James and Philip Strother to act as prosecutor, judge, jury, and executioner.
How did Henry Bowie respond to this information?
He was interested that the brothers had been acquitted. I advised him not to take matters into his own hands, but let the court take its own course. I realized that after the murder, that the knowledge of the Bywaters case emboldened the Bowies to take legal action against Posey. This in turn, these events in turn prompted my amicus brief.
The people have no further questions of this witness.
You may cross-examine, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Diggs. Thank you for your illuminating and constructive testimony. James and Philip Strother were found not guilty.
Yes, Congressman.
And what was the line of defense in the Strother's case?
The unwritten law, Mr. Mudd, lex non scripta.
The unwritten law. Not guilty.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. You may step down, Mr. Diggs. Next witness, General Wilmer.
The people called George Grote. George Grote.
George Grote, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the records.
George Grote, Pittsburgh.
Did you know the deceased Hubert Posey?
Yes, Bert and I worked at the Navy powder factory. We have been pals all of our lives.
On January 8th of this year, were you summoned to a hearing before Justice Robertson?
Yes, sir.
And what was your sworn testimony?
I witnessed Henry Bowie say, "Marry sis," or he'll shoot Bert Posey. I heard this, or words similar, on 3 other occasions.
And what was the outcome of this hearing?
Justice Robertson put Henry Bowie under a $200 peace bond. Bowie said he had no intentions of doing Posey harm, and the differences between them were over.
What did you do after the hearing?
Well, we, his friends and fellow workmen, begged Bert to leave Charles County, fearing that he would be killed if he remained.
Would you tell the jury what you observed January 18th of this year?
Hubert Posey, Dan Wood, and I left work in Indian Head and started walking down Mason Spring. At the Mattawinda Bridge, Bert was set upon by a large, stout woman with a pistol and a young man with a shotgun. They came out of Cole's shack and caught him by the arm.
Do you see that woman and this man in this courtroom?
Yes, sir. That's them sitting right there, Mrs. Bowie and her son, Henry Bowie.
What did you hear Mrs. Bowie say to Bert?
She said, "You must come with us."
What did you hear Hubert Posey say to Mrs. Bowie?
He said, "No, you need to wait until I stop at my house and get some clothes."
What did Mrs. Bowie say in response?
She said, "No, you will go with us now."
Well, what did you do?
Dan Wood and I left him. We don't want no trouble. That's all I can recall.
The people have no more questions of this witness.
You may cross-examine Mr. Budd.
You left your friend and went on your way. Did you seek help? Were you more concerned with his safety or your own?
Bert waved us on. I don't want those boobies coming after me.
So, you abandoned your friend to certain death? No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step away, Mr. Grote. Next witness, General Williams.
People call Clayton Posey.
Clayton Posey. Clayton Posey, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the records.
Clayton Posey, Mason Springs.
Did you know the deceased Hubert Posey?
Bert was my younger brother. I lived in my home for a number of months since he began working at the proving grounds.
What do you recall of the events of January the 18th?
Friday evening, Daniel Wood came rushing into my store. He told me he saw Mrs. Bowie and her son, Harry, with guns accosting my brother Bert. I got on my horse and headed for the bridge.
What happened when you arrived?
Mrs. Bowie told me they would take Bert to Ironsides and marry Sis, or kill him.
And what did you do?
I started back towards the store to arm myself. When I got 200 yards away, I heard the gunfire.
Who fired the shots?
I saw Mrs. Bowie fire 3 or 4 shots with a revolver. And then Harry fired the gun. Mrs. Bowie and her son ran down along the bridge at the edge of the woods. And Bert staggered to a vacant house and sat down.
You saw Mrs. Bowie shoot your brother.
Yes, sir.
Was your brother armed?
The only thing Bert had with him was a lunch pail.
What did you do next?
My brother Gustus and I couldn't find a doctor, so we got Bert on a Navy tug. Gussie rode with Bert to the Washington. They could not save him.
The people have no more questions.
Cross-examine Mr. Budd.
You left your brother and rode off. Did you threaten the defendants?
I was not healed. I told him there'd be trouble if I came back and they were still railroading Bert. I did not think they would shoot their unarmed man.
You abandoned your brother, correct? You rode off and left him to his fate?
Yes, I was deluded and think they would not shoot their own kin.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step away, Mr. Posey. Next witness, General Wilmer.
The people called James H. Cole.
James H. Cole.
James H. Cole, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the record.
Your Honor, Mr. Cole has the misfortune of a severe speech impediment. He is critical to the people's case. Mr. Cole has written his testimony, and with the court's permission, I would like to submit that written testimony for review and cross-examination.
You may proceed. Providing this is read into evidence by the clerk in front of the jury. Any objections, Senator Posey?
None.
That fat woman and that dark-haired man came to our house and waited until the Indian Head employees began to pass. They sat near the window until the dark-haired man jumped up and shouted, "There he is now!" Then they ran out on the road and stopped Posey. They talked loud. The fat woman wanted Posey to go to her home and marry Sis. He wouldn't go, and they tried to drag him through a wire fence. I stayed in house until I heard gunshots from a pistol and one from a gun. When I went out on the road, I saw Posey lying in the dust. The fat woman and man were walking away with their pistol and gun.
Is this testimony correct, Mr. Cole? Do you see the woman and man you described in your written testimony in this courtroom? Nod for yes, shake your head for no. Can you point them out? The people are finished with this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Butt?
No questions, Your Honor.
You may step aside, Mr. Cole. Next witness, General Wilmer.
The people call Captain William Merriman.
Captain William Merriman.
William Merriman, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the records.
Captain William Merriman, sign on board.
Tell this jury what you observed the evening of January 18th of this year in regard to the death of Hubert Posey.
Clayton Posey came to my house looking for assistance. I ran with him and found his brother in shot. He'd been shot in the shoulder. And when we removed his coat, a bullet fell out. I heard later that he'd been shot in the back as well. We helped him to my steamer and took him off to Washington, D.C.
The people have no further questions.
Mr. Mudd?
No questions, Your Honor.
You may step aside, Captain Merriman. Next witness, General Wilmer.
The people call Augustus Posey.
Augustus Posey.
Augustus Posey, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please state your name and residence for the records.
Augustus Posey. Folks call me Gussie. I live and work in Washington.
Would you tell this jury what you observed the evening of January 18th this year?
I arrived at Clayton's store near Mason Springs. My sister-in-law said Bert was at the little house on the road near the bridge, and there was trouble.
What did you do?
I went to Bert's assistance. My brother, he lives across Malibu Creek, almost inside the proving ground. It is necessary for him to go some business back in the woods. He would have to go past the shanty, but it's when the trouble had occurred, so I hurried to the spot.
And what did you see when you arrived?
Bert, lying on the ground, screaming in pain. He had been shot. Bert needed a physician, but there was none to be found.
And what did you do?
We put him on Navy tug and headed to Washington. Bert was unconscious most of the time and unable to make a statement. Stayed by his side till his death in the casualty hospital.
The people are done with this witness.
Mr. Mudd.
No questions, Your Honor.
You may step aside, Mr. Posey. Next witness, General Wilmer.
The people call you Posey.
You, Posey, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the records.
Hugh Posey. I have a farm near Hilltop.
Tell this jury about your son, Hubert.
Hubert would have been 22 years old in March. He was a good boy, and he did not deserve to die. His mother cannot accept the fact of his passing. I knew nothing of the killing of my son, except what I'd heard from family and friends. I have no delusions of receiving justice here.
People have no further questions of this witness.
Mr. Mudd.
Mr. Posey. Why, if, as you testified, that Bert was a good boy, why did he not marry Miss Bowie last Thanksgiving?
His mother and I thought it best he did not under her condition.
What condition, Mr. Posey?
I prefer not to answer. I had my suspicions.
You will answer the question, Mr. Posey. You are under oath. Would you like me to find you in contempt?
I did not want Bert marrying that girl if he was not the one responsible for her condition. I did not want my son walking in another man's shoes.
No! No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step aside, Mr. Posey. Next witness, General Wilmer.
people have given evidence that a crime has occurred. The murder of Hubert Posey. The people have given evidence through direct testimony, through exhibits, that said defendants, Mary and Henry Bowie, were responsible for the planning and executing this murder. The people rest.
Thank you, General Wilmer. If you are ready, Senator Posey, you may call your first witness.
Mary Elizabeth Bowie.
Mary Elizabeth Bowie, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the record.
Mary Elizabeth Bowie, Ironsides. I answer to Mary or Molly.
Molly. Did you know the late Hubert Posey?
Yes, sir.
You know where he is now, Molly.
He's dead.
Who killed him, Molly?
I killed him.
Bully for you, Molly! I'd have shot them son of a twice. Silence! For my daughter, order in here.
Sheriff, take that man into custody. Remove him from the court. There'll be a $50 fine for contempt.
I'm going.
Any more outbursts like that will be handled with severe.
You, Posey! Your name is an oath on my lips.
Take him out, Sheriff. Any more outbursts like that will be handled most severely. I will clear this for you. You may continue.
You killed. When was that?
I can't remember one day from the other since this trouble started, but it was up yonder near Indian Head on a Friday last winter.
Had Hubert Posey been paying attention to Priscilla?
Yes, Bert had been sparking my daughter for 4 years. He was headed on to marry her.
Did Hubert Posey seduce Priscilla on the promise of marriage?
Yes, sir, he did. Sis had a child by him.
Did Hubert Posey marry Priscilla?
No, sir. He refused.
Did you speak to him about marrying Priscilla?
I did several times, sir. The last time was the day he was killed.
And what did you say?
I said, if he did not marry Sis, I would shoot him.
What did he say?
He said he was not going to marry her because he was not able to care for a wife.
And what did you say to him about that?
I said I would pay for it all. I would even pay for the preacher. She needn't cost him nary a cent. He could live in my home and call it his. We would keep his lunchbox full and we would take him to work every day.
Your son say anything to him, Molly?
Henry said he'd get Bert a divorce if he wanted one, and he said he needn't live with her any longer than he wanted to.
And what did you do?
I had him by the coat, and he laughed at me and said, "Shoot as much as you damn well please." And he struck me in the breast 3 times and started to run away. He was about 10 feet away when I fired, but he went on and I fired again. Then Henry said, "I don't think you hit him, Mother." And he raised his gun and he sent a load after Bert, who fell in the road.
Your Honor, drive that man back. It isn't right to have him looking the witness in the eye, trying to cow her into silence.
Sir, escort Mr. Posey back to his seat.
When was Priscilla ruined, Molly?
Sometime in August last year, on a night he stayed at our house after a church festival.
Did Priscilla tell you about her condition?
Well, October last, the 12th or the 15th, Sis was taken sick and sent for a doctor. And he aroused my suspicions as to to what was the matter with her, and I asked her about her condition, and she owned up to me that she was expected to become a mother, and that Hubert Posey was responsible.
I have no further questions to this witness.
General Wilmer, your witness.
Did other young men call Priscilla at the same time as Posey?
Your Honor, by all that is sacred, this is out of order. I strongly object to this line of questioning. Most strongly.
Objection sustained.
All right then. Was Hubert Posey at your home the night in August when Priscilla was defiled?
Yes. I heard Posey go into Sis's room on that night, and I recall seeing him leaving my farm the next morning.
Afterwards, did you speak to him about Mary?
No. Sis asked me not to at first. She believed he would keep his word.
Did you make any arrangements before going down to the road to see him?
Yes, sir. I took my old revolver, and Harry carried a shotgun.
Do you recognize this revolver?
Objection, Your Honor. Objection. We stipulated the people's exhibits.
Overruled. Let the witness answer.
Yes, sir. It is my revolver.
Now, what were your intentions with this firearm?
To protect ourselves from interference by Posey's friends, and to threaten it into carrying out his promise. We intended shooting him if he refused to marry her after we had made every possible offer to him.
Did you arrange who was to shoot first?
We were both going to shoot.
Did you tell Priscilla you intended on shooting him?
Yes, sir. About a week before the shooting, she wrote him several letters asking him to keep his promise.
Did he deny he took liberties with his sis?
Never. He said he was responsible and he ought to marry her, but he didn't want to get married and wouldn't.
Do you recognize these letters?
Yes, these are letters written by Posey to my sis. Bert Posey was the only man my daughter cared for. While Sis had boys calling at the house a few years ago, Bert was the only one who called last summer.
Why did you take the law into your own hands, Mrs. Bowie?
He wronged my daughter and refused to save her honor by marrying her. She loved and trusted him, and he ruined her. And there sits my daughter, and there is her child. The evidence is clear. I gave Hubert Posey every chance to redeem his promise to my daughter, and he laughed at me, and he laughed at her. I killed him. I alone am responsible for his death.
People have no further questions of this witness.
You are excused. Call you the next witness. Sign proposal.
Robert Henry Bowie.
Robert Henry Bowie, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the record.
Robert Henry Bowie, Ironsides. I go by Henry or Harry.
You helped kill Bert Posey?
Yes.
Why, may I ask?
Bert Posey busted my sister and refused to marry her. I am the oldest son of Ethelbert Bowie, who died 11 years ago. leaving my mother and 6 sisters. I have worked hard and faithfully upon the little farm to support the family.
Now, when did you become aware of your sister's condition?
Priscilla got employment in Washington a few years ago, and she returned to Charles County last summer. It was not until November that I knew of her condition.
What did you do next?
I begged Hubert Posey to marry Priscilla.
What did he say?
He admitted responsibility for her condition.
What happened next?
A marriage license was obtained by Mrs. Leland, Bert's aunt. The ceremony would be on Thanksgiving Day.
Did Priscilla marry Hubert Posey?
No. He did not appear and gave no excuse for his absence.
I have no further questions for this witness.
General Walmer, you across the counter.
You violated the terms of the peace bond placed against you by Hubert Posey 2 weeks before the shooting.
Yes.
Did you see your sister violate, or Posey promised to marry her?
No, sir, I did not.
My brother knows because I told him so.
Objection, Your Honor. I ask that this unsworn remark be stricken out.
Strike that unsworn statement from the record. Mr. Mudd, advise your client on the proper courtroom form. Gentlemen of the jury, ignore that outburst. Any further demonstration will be held in contempt of court.
My apologies, Your Honor. These asides will not be repeated.
Very well, you have been put on notice. General Wilmer, continue.
Do you recognize this shotgun?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled, let the witness answer.
Yes, it is my shotgun.
What happened at Matterhorn Bridge the night of January 18th of this year?
Wrought up as I was by the approaching illness of my sister, I accompanied my mother to make a final appeal to Hubert to keep his promise. We left home about 2 o'clock and drove to a point near the south end of the bridge across the Matterhorn Creek from Indian Head, which Posey was accustomed to travel, and waited for his approach. When he came along, he was in company with several other laborers who went ahead as we stopped him to talk over the matter.
And what did you say to Hubert Posey when you confronted him?
I said, Bert, you should marry sis. You ought not to have ruined her or promised to marry her if you didn't intend to.
Did he say anything in response?
He said, many men ruin girls without marrying them.
And what did you do?
We displayed our weapons and threatened his life. Posey said nothing. And shortly thereafter, Clayton Posey, who had been notified by the laborers of our meeting, appeared upon the scene.
And what did Clayton Posey do?
He rode up, cursed, and abused both myself and my mother. He dashed back on his horse to prepare himself, and he said to kill somebody when he came back.
What happened when Clayton Posey rode off?
My mother took hold of Bert.
What did Hubert Posey do?
Bert struck my mother several times, broke away and ran. My mother fired several shots. Posey staggered, but kept fleeing.
And what did you do?
Bert did not stop, and I fired my shotgun. Posey kept on running until he got behind an old cabin nearby. We did not pursue and left at once for home without seeing him again.
you had no reservations about shooting a wounded, unarmed man in the back.
The witness will answer the question.
No. For the pain he caused, I'll shoot him again.
Did Posey state he wasn't the only man who ruined Sis?
He never said that.
The people have no further questions of this witness.
Mr. Bowie, you are excused. Call your next witness, Senator Posey.
Miss Priscilla Bowie.
Priscilla Bowie, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the records.
Priscilla Bowie, Ironsides.
What is your relationship to the defendants?
That is my mother and my brother.
Did you know Hubert Posey?
He's dead! He's dead! What will become of me? What will become of our baby?
Your Honor, the people request a brief recess in order for this witness to compose herself.
The defense has no objections, Your Honor, and welcomes the recess.
Court will recess, reconvene at 2 o'clock.
All rise. Circuit Court is back in session.
Be seated. Once sworn, still sworn. Are you ready to proceed, Senator Posey?
Yes, Your Honor. Was Hubert Posey the father of your baby?
Yes, sir.
Now, Miss Bowie, did you yield yourself to Hubert Posey under promise of marriage?
Yes. It was late last summer that I was ruined.
How long were you romantically involved?
We were engaged when I was 17 years of age. He wanted me to marry him, and he asked if I would wait until I was 21 years old. We were to be married not later than the middle of last October.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
I saw Bert on Friday, January 11th, at a dance, and asked him to walk home with me. He refused. I saw him again 2 days later on Sunday at Mount Pisgah Church, and he ignored me.
Did Hubert Posey marry you, Miss Bowie?
No. When the time came, he did not marry me. He turned his back on me, and he would not speak to me. I loved him, and he abandoned me. He was my first cousin, and he should have made me his wife.
I have no further questions of this witness.
The people may cross-examine the general woman, your witness.
No questions.
Ms. Bowie, you are excused. Call your next witness, Senator Posey.
Mrs. John Leland.
Mrs. John Leland. Mrs. Leland, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and residence for the record.
And Elizabeth Leland. I go by Nanny.
What is your relationship with Hubert Posey?
I am his aunt. His mother, Ella, is my sister.
Now, will you describe what happened last Thanksgiving Day?
2 weeks before Thanksgiving Day, news was out that Bert Posey and Sis Bowie were to be married.
What did you do?
I gave Hubert Posey $10 several days before the wedding to procure a dress and a wedding ring. I came to the plate to the courthouse. got the license for the marriage. I arranged Reverend H.P. Barker, minister of the La Plata Methodist Church, to come to my house in Hilltop, perform the ceremony. Thanksgiving Day came, the marriage feast was prepared, the bride-to-be had her wedding clothes, the relatives and neighbors had been invited to the ceremony.
Did the wedding take place?
No. The bridegroom never arrived. There was fear that harm had come to Posey, but a messenger sent to his home reported that he was not there. The bridegroom-to-be heard, and she heard it before anybody else, and wept. My daughter Grace was married on the same night to George Grote.
No further questions.
Your witness, General Wilmer.
Was the money given to Posey to purchase a dress for you, and that Priscilla was going to be the bridesmaid at the wedding of your daughter?
That's not true. The money was for Bert's wedding to Sis.
People have no questions.
Mrs. Leland, you are excused. Call your next witness, Senator Posey.
Warren Albritton.
Warren Albritton.
Warren M. Albritton, please. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name, residence, and occupation.
Warren M. Albritton, La Plata, County Clerk for Charles County.
Now, will you describe the events surrounding a wedding license issued November last year by you and paid for by Mrs. John Leland?
I issued a wedding license on November 26, 1906 for Hubert Posey, 21, and Priscilla Bowie, 20, both of this county.
I have no further questions of the witness.
The people may cross-examine General Wilmer, your witness.
People have no questions.
Mr. Albritton, you are excused.
Your Honor, Mr. Albritton is our final witness. The defense rests.
Gentlemen of the jury, you will now hear closing arguments. General Wilmer will sum up the case on behalf of the people.
Gentlemen of the jury, the defense in this case is the unwritten law. There is no such thing in Maryland, no such thing. It is a fiction. The law we recognize and that which appears in and on our statutes. The crime here is willful, deliberate, premeditated, and cold-blooded murder. And I insist the people have proved the case of that character. Murder is the act of deliberately taking a person's life. There are several levels of murder charges in Maryland, including first degree, second degree, and felony murder. The different types of murder charges have unique circumstances and penalties. With first degree murder, the defendants plan to kill the victim. Since the act was premeditated, the penalty is severe. Those convicted of first-degree murder face two possible penalties: death or life imprisonment. The difference between first-degree murder and second-degree murder is that second-degree murder lacks premeditation. This occurs when an individual kills someone in the heat of an argument. They intended to kill or cause serious bodily harm at the moment, but they had not planned to do it ahead of time. The punishment for second-degree murder can range from 20 years to life in prison with or without the possibility of parole. Now, what was cured by this atrocious murder? What was helped? Wasn't the shame of this unfortunate, girl published for all the world. The community of Hubert Posey, if any citizen was as bad as he's been painted here, it would be in the best interest of the world for all the virtuous people of the community to give him a sound thrashing, tar and feather, brand the mark of scorn on his forehead. I tell you, gentlemen, this is a pure and simple case of revenge. Revenge! The shooting wasn't justified by divine law or any other law. Thou shalt not kill. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. The unwritten law which they plead is not written on the hearts of you jurors or of other of our good citizens. The law through the ages and ages has protected more than anything the man's highest right, his inalienable right, his right to life. I know this poor mother's position was a trying one, and that she was rightfully indignant. I yield to no man in my reverence for women. I want them to live forever on a pinnacle of purity, that I may worship them to the last day of my life. I am a father, and I know a mother's feelings for her child. Thank you.
Thank you, General Woolman. Senator Posey will offer closing remarks on behalf of the defense. Senator Posey, please.
Gentlemen, this is murder or nothing. Now, there can be no murder without malice. Homicides are either justifiable, excusable, or cold-blooded. But there was no malice here, and therefore no murder. This is justifiable homicide, if there ever was such a thing. Now, from the time the first pang of grief pierced the heart of this woman, playing the dual role of father and mother, until she shot down the debaucher of her daughter, not a word of malice toward Hubert Posey fell from her lips. She was patient. She controlled herself, hoping for the best. Did she rush off in a heat of passion when she first heard her daughter's heartrending story? No. She was quiet, calm, and reasonable. She wanted the wrong righted, but she thirsted not for the blood of the fiend incarnate who had so violated her hearthstone and forever darkened her door. The stories told Miss Bowie inspired no malice in her heart. This is not the case where Judge Loving, in a hot haste of passion, seized a weapon and killed without verifying the story. Mrs. Bowie didn't kill on first sight. She did not take this man by surprise and shoot him down without talking to him. Now, opportunity for fire from ambush on many occasions presented itself. But she did not want to resort to anything like that. She waited, hoped, and longed for an atonement of wrong. The ominous clouds of sorrow and despair were about to break over the homestead before she acted. The shame of her daughter was about to become common property of the world. Her shame must be shielded. Did she shoot without giving Posey every opportunity in the world? No. Gentlemen, she did not raise her hand to harm him until the last appeal had failed. Save, oh save the honor of my child whom you have dishonored, she screamed at him. She pleaded, beseeched, promised, and threatened. But to all her pleas he turned a deaf ear, struck this poor woman, and ran away. Then, and not till then, was he shot. There is no law to reach such a case, and no law has been transgressed. There's no written law to reach such a case. There is not a line on our statute books. But if such conduct is not punished, well, any vile young man can enter the hearth of any home and destroy the loveliest flower budding there. And the sorrow and victims have no recourse, save what these poor people resorted to. Now, if the doors to the penitentiary or a trip to the gallows awaited the ruiners of young women under false promises, we would hear but few such cases. Now, we of this county have not much of which to be proud, but we do have something. A thing that money cannot purchase. We are proud of our homes and proud of our women. And he who defiles those homes or assails our women must die. I would be sorry to think otherwise. The moral law only fits. Now, when you come to deliberate on this case, think of your own home, where I know there is a fair daughter. Remember your own fireside. Remember the feverish cries of that fatherless and nameless baby ringing in your ears. And remember that there is a prayer on the lips of every woman in the community who is asking God to give you the strength to protect their honor and virtue. And that you can do by letting these defendants go back to the home. Defense is in.
General Wilmer, will the people have anything to say in the way of rebuttal?
Yes, Your Honor. In view of the provocation, the righteous indignation, the mental anguish this poor woman has suffered, I cannot find it in my heart to ask for a verdict in murder of the first degree. I know I will be criticized for this, but I've been a public man too long to pay any attention to the criticism that would be false to my own heart and to my manhood, and ask for a verdict of murder-assailed for this indictment. Stories told Mrs. Bowie aroused her to the deepest indignation against the victims, as they should have done. This is not murder, but manslaughter. You can find a verdict for that or some minor degree of homicide. I don't ask you to send these defendants to the gallows, fine them, or imprison them, or both. Gentlemen of the jury, you can put them in jail for 1 day or fine them 1 cent. I'm finished. You're on.
Members of the jury will now retire to deliberate. This court is now in recess.
Silence in court. All rise. The 7th Judicial Circuit Court for Prince George's, Calvert, Charles, and St. Mary's counties of the state of Maryland is back in session.
Be seated. Members of the
We have, Your Honor.
Let the defendants rise, face the jury. Foreman of the jury in the case of State of Maryland versus Mary Elizabeth Bowie and Robert Henry Bowie, charge of first-degree murder of Hubert Posey. How do you define the defendants? Not guilty or guilty?
Not guilty.
Gentlemen of the jury, you have discharged your office and are dismissed. Defendants are free to go. This court is adjourned.